There we go. Morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
All right, our first segment will be a quick overview of our WIGs, and then Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you with some updates on math, if that works for you.
Okay.
Okay. Did you need to leave early or anything? I just want to make sure we get that in.
Nope, Grace. I've got back-to-back meetings, so Grace, I could work from home this morning, and then I'm going to head up this afternoon, so I'm good.
Okay. Okay. And thank you for getting up early. I know that this is well before your time.
Usually I'm just getting up about 8:30, so.
All right.
I have to present like for anybody else going to bed, so if you relate it that way. So my mind's a little foggy, but I'll trudge through this morning. I'll be good. Thank you.
All right, we'll get started here with our reports. I will start with our winter enrollment. Share a screen here. Our winter enrollment, we are now concluding our first week of enrollment. We've had partial enrollment for the first 3 days, and depending on number of credits that students have taken, with open enrollment starting yesterday. We are up quite a bit. Our enrollment is looking good. Let me get exact numbers here if I can for you. 12% for our first week, 4 days. So we're up 12% for our first 4 days. But the enrollment is very interesting in that the continuing students are getting enrolled at a fantastic pace, which is great to see. But this year, so far, our new students, which could only enroll yesterday, were down. So we'll keep an eye on that and make sure that we are getting the word out. So those are reconnect and stuff like that. And they're down pretty substantially for the first day. So we definitely want to take a look at that and make adjustments accordingly. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Culler.
Good morning, everyone. So when I met with Dr. Behrens briefly yesterday to talk about what we should be presenting, he asked me to give a quick update on the processing status for the financial aid office. So in the financial aid office, we obviously field a lot of phone calls, a lot of students coming in to see us, but there is a lot of back-end processing that has to be done in order to make sure that we're moving files through and that students are getting their aid packages timely. So we have standard processing deadlines for pretty much everything that we do. And our standard processing timelines based on when students turn information into us or when we get reports from the state or information from the federal government, typically is a 3 to 5 day turnaround, which is, if anybody is familiar with working with the financial aid process through any other school, ours is a very aggressive timeline, but we're very, very good at meeting those processing deadlines. So what I did is I went through and I listed all of the kind of weekly tasks in terms of documents we receive, reports we receive, daily tasks that we do. And for our office, everything at this point in time is current. It's very helpful for us that in our office, we do have people who are cross-trained on pretty much everything, so that if we have a vacation or somebody needs to take some time off for sick day, we have somebody else who is able to pitch in and help out with the work. So at this point in time, gearing up for the winter enrollment, which gets really busy, I'm happy to say that we are current on everything. Just a quick update on some of the bigger projects that we're working on. So we need to be preparing in our office to launch our 2022-23 financial aid cycle. I know that seems really early, especially when we're focused on winter semester, but that FAFSA did become available in October. And our high school graduating seniors, they do want that information very early. So it's important for my office to get up and running with that. So we were waiting on a release from the Aleutian Colleague system to be able to start importing the 2022-23 FAFSAs. Data processing is going to be putting that release in production this weekend for us. They moved extremely fast upon our request, so I want to say thank you to them. We should be able to do our first FAFSA load on Monday and get our first missing information letters and emails out on Monday. We'll continue with our 2022-23 annual setup for packaging, loan processing, and all of those other things that we have to do. We continue to work with the foundation and Chris Gerlach and Disability Services on the Project Persist. program, which is giving emergency funding to students in need. The next deadline that we've established that has to be met is to finalize the draft procedures, which I'm working on and should have ready by next Wednesday. High school nights are ongoing. We were just at Airport High School this week, and next week we'll be at Monroe High School. And then I just want to say a special thank you to Allison and Tyler and Kim, who did a tremendous job this cycle, helping me with the reimbursement rosters that we have to send to the state for competitive scholarship, tuition incentive program, Reconnect, and Futures for Frontliners. It was almost 700 student files that we had to go through and prepare reports for, almost $700,000. So it's quite a substantial sum of money. Takes a lot of time, but very happy to say that we met that deadline timely as well.
Thank you and well done. Tracy, let's go to you next. And good morning.
Good morning. So the registrar's office, our WIG is pretty much the overall WIG of increasing graduation and retention rates. We will have very focused outreach for the fall to winter FIDIAC students, which I'll report on in just a second. We will also continue to refine the new course alert system, as well as the recurring degree audit notifications, which one of those should be going out early next week. We're working on implementing AutoGrad and hopefully having like a test run this for fall semester, and hopefully trying to implement for next semester. Students will have an opt-out option, otherwise they will not be required to apply for graduation. And we are also continuing lots of efforts that are tied to the strategic plan regarding transferability of courses and articulation agreements. So, and then as of yesterday, for winter enrollment, we're tracking FIDIAC retention. We had 53 students register, 53 of the fall FIDIAC students register, probably all yesterday, because most of them don't have any credits accumulated yet. So we already have 17% of our FIDIAC students registered for winter semester. Hopefully that number will be very large like it has been the last semester. That's all I have.
Fantastic. And obviously, this semester, the students are enrolling at a great rate. So thank you to you guys, and also to faculty who are helping to get the word out and really push students to get registered sooner. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, all yours.
Okay. All right. So our office goal for the Office of Communications is, of course, to drive traffic to the Student Success Center website. And last week I talked about our goal, which we had to tweak a little bit due to some reporting issues. But our goal is to get up to more than 4,200 page views. And then at the start, well, actually on August 23rd, I mean, because we really started with nothing because we redeveloped the page and it has a new URL. So on October 23rd, we had about 655 page views since September 1st. So that was over about 6-7 weeks. I'm going to skip down here over a lot of stuff you've already seen. We did a lot of things in the last few weeks. Not a ton last week, but we had some carryover success with some things that the last time I reported out that we had just put out there. So just some quick stats on where we're at. Whoop, my bad. As of, let's see here. Yeah, so we're up to 1,120 page views. So we've more than doubled those since October 23rd. So really in the last couple of weeks. And you can see the spike when we really started to do some things last week and into this week. We are, obviously this line is higher than this line. We want to be averaging close to 80 to 100 each week there. So we're looking pretty good. In fact, we spiked up to nearly 200 in just one day when we did a whole bunch of stuff. I did want to focus a little bit on registration that you spoke about. We did focus pretty heavily on those from the marketing department on those current students. So maybe that may be the reason we didn't launch any real big marketing push to the general population, because of we wanted to focus in on those current students first, and then the fact that they could register each on their appropriate day according to credit hours. So we did have some specialized messages go out to them early. So really, those general registration, it gets kind of weird to communicate, because continuing students can register first for like 3-4 days, and then the general students can. So we have to really time the message very well. So the general population really didn't start receiving the information about registration until yesterday, if they weren't a current student, and that was this one. This one went out to, I think we sent this out to everyone in our constant contact database that we have here, because we're hoping to catch parents word of mouth, everything, including, students that are in our target audience. So this email went out to about 37,000 email addresses yesterday, and then this postcard mails today. So it was dropped at the post office yesterday, and we'll start matriculating out into the community today. Again, this is a bulk mailing, so it goes out to every residence in Monroe County. So it's up to, that certain mail route, whether it comes quickly or not so quickly, but usually it's a day or two up to a week or so with a postcard. Does not take long, but it's not first class, so it can take longer than normal. So, but it's going to go out there. That's about 65,000 homes. So we are pushing to those external audiences. And then I just look at some stats. Here are the stats as we've creeped into November. You can see the registration page is just going straight up, and we really haven't seen that postcard hit. So the idea is that this line just continues up at this level all the way up through so it's 2,943 hits on that registration page since September 1st, but a lot of that has happened in late October, early November. And then also, I will share this quickly. We haven't even really begun yet with our enrollment campaign. So you can see here, all of this stuff has been shipped, created, put out there. So there's a custom email coming out that'll go to about 100,000 email addresses in the county and beyond on 11/8. And then there'll be a follow-up on 12/6. And then we have all this other stuff starting, digital ads everywhere, Pandora ads, radio and digital, and then Google search starts all really in the next, in 11/8 is the custom email, and then we start with the ad campaign about mid-November. And then our out-of-home billboards will be up. We had to ship them back on the 25th of October, but they'll be up mid-month all the way up through registration. So that big external push is really just getting started, and that's all I have.
All right, well done. I have one slide from student success and our numbers, and Joe, this shows what you're doing, what Damaris is doing, what Brianna Pio is doing, and Jennifer over there, just great work. Our tutoring visits are way up, double year over year, and more than double year over year, and they're well up over 2019 pre-COVID numbers. So just knocking it out of the park over there, helping students, and that's exactly what we want to see. So with that, Dean Cooper, I turn it to you.
All right. Get my camera and mic going here. Scott, I don't know if you received the flow chart.
Okay, I got it.
Yes.
I'm going to pull it up right now.
Would you be able to pop it up? Because I think that would help. Thank you, Jennifer, for sending it.
Thank you, Jennifer. Great work.
Well, it was Brianna and I together.
Well done.
Yeah, they did a really awesome job on this. I was blown away.
There's the 105.
Yeah. No, this is better than my, I presented to advisors, counselors, kind of a column type deal where I had a column that showed which students should take the 090-151 path and which students should take the 105 path. So what Brianna and Jennifer did here was kind of put it into a visual flow chart. So it's not just text. So hopefully, I'm not sure if you could make it a little bit larger. I'm going to have to take my glasses off. I don't want to look like a Christmas tree bulb with my face here, but I'm going to have to come up closer to the screen. There we go. So our 090 math, the state of Michigan, and with our Michigan PAC grant especially, has tried to have as few students as possible, and possibly in the future, no students at all be in a remedial math course. A lot of colleges are going to the co-rec model, where let's say you have a statistics or a college algebra course that is 3 or 4 credits, and then you attach a 2-credit co-rec to that. Upon meeting with the math faculty and I shared their view, we thought that would be very difficult for some of our students, especially some of our students that have been out of high school for years, to be able to place right into a course like stats or a course like college algebra, and then try to get up to speed with a co-rec in 5 or 6 weeks. We just didn't think that that was the best path or selection for our students. So the alternative was to develop sort of a co-rec course in and of itself, instead of them reviewing like factoring and some of the basics of algebra, like solving a linear equation, along with doing the heavy statistics or college algebra material together. The math faculty came up with this Math 105. So that's a new course, and you see it on the flow chart. Students can still go the 092-151 route. I guess there were 2 main objectives with this 105. Number 1 is our Reconnect students needed a one and done because they cannot get financial aid repeating a course. Originally, we were thinking too, unless we could prove, for example, the 092 is accelerated, all modularized, they wouldn't receive financial aid for a below 100 level class. So the 105 was really intended for students that need a one and done. They have to get through all their math in one semester. The second one is, since I've been dean, when I started in 2017, I've heard from Kim Lindquist and nursing and others that 151 course is a barrier for students going into statistics. And I agree, there is a lot of math, upper end math in 151 that is really prepping the student to go into college algebra and not a course like statistics. So the beauty of the 105 is it takes a lot of 092, and then it takes selected topics out of 151, mainly the topics they need to be successful in business math, topics that they need for math explorations, topics that they need for statistics. 105, again, contains some 151 material, but the math faculty have added 2 statistics-based outcomes in the course, and there's also an outcome to prep students for the Math for Business class. So that's the beauty of this 105 is, yes, it has the algebra still, but we have 2 outcomes devoted to statistics. We have 1 outcome devoted to the Math for Business. So it's a really good preparatory course for students going into math explorations, Math for Business, and most especially the statistics. So I would recommend the 105 for many students because it's that all-encompassing class. It is 6 credits. We were going to go with 5, but we thought in terms of student planning and if they're going to take other courses, let's say they need a full load, they could take 2 other 3-credit-hour classes and then the 6 and really focus on their math. You may have, and Scott can maybe give his feelings on this, but we were also thinking that if you have a student just coming in, they may need the ELP English as well. That's 5 credits if they do the 090, 151, and then they could take a credit college success course and get to 12. I know there's SAP concerns with that, but there might be that student that wants to knock out all that in one semester and then they can move on to their other college level courses. So 090 is going away because, and this is a huge point I want to make today, the Math Bootcamp actually contains everything that's in 090 and just a little itty bit of 092. What I have seen by looking through the data excuse me, of most of the students that have AccuPlaced after they do the math boot camp, they're placing into 092. So there's really no need for them to be hung up in remedial math when we have this free math boot camp for them. And why pay for the credits of 090 when there's this beautiful free service for them? So if a student is placing below 092 and 105 level, and the cutoff for AccuPlacing is the same for 105 as it is for 092, the student has the choice. Again, probably the reconnect student that needs the one and done. I would highly encourage any student going into statistics, take the 105. If they are more on a college algebra pre-calc track, probably the 092 151 pathway is better. And I can't, this is just going, off of feelings here, but I would say that probably the STEM-based student, the one that's especially like on the pre-calc calc track, you may have a few that are 092 testers, but my hunch is a lot will probably already be testing into 151 because they may have had the background or the preparation if they're going into a heavy math path to be able to test into 151. I guess another point is if you have the student that is not testing at the 092 level, let's say they're already at the 151 level, 151 may be a better choice for them because it's only 4 credits. So they may have already mastered some of the 105, but you may have the student that is still shaky even after they did the AccuPlacer and say, you know what, I'm not really comfortable with my math skills. 105 may be a better choice then because they get some of that review. So keep in mind that, again, the 105 only takes part of 151. 151 is the more heavy algebra course, and it's going to really prep them for the college algebra pathway. I had, again, a meeting earlier this week. One question came up, can a 105 student go into pre-calc? The answer, I asked the math faculty and especially Kathy Shepard, she was like, yeah, they could, but really I wouldn't advise that because pre-calculus, yes, starts at college algebra, but it's way more intense, way more accelerated. So they haven't come to a consensus with that yet, so that's still kind of to be determined. So I would shy away from putting a 105 student directly into pre-calculus, but we were thinking about maybe saying with instructor approval, if that makes sense, because you might have that top A student at 105 that could handle pre-calc. But as we all know, pre-calc is I would say probably the toughest course in the math sequence. So I would be very careful putting a 105 student into pre-calc. But I think this diagram, again, I really want to thank Jennifer and Brianna. We went through several iterations. I know both were running to my office with new charts, and I kept saying, wait a minute, one more thing, wait a minute, one more thing. So thank you for being patient with me. But the final product, I think, is very well done. So with that, I'll take questions.
And real quick, let me, our admissions office is open now, so anyone who wants to stay on, that'd be great. I'm going to stop the recording for questions. And I see a couple of hands up to get us started. Let me stop recording. There we are.